really fun plans afterward? No? Is this the highlight of your day? I better make it good. Thank you, everybody, for coming. If I stand behind my podium, you can't really see me because I'm kind of short. So I asked for this little thing so I can stand in front of it and you can see me. We're talking about hydration today. Yay, so exciting, right? I was saying before some of you came in that I was kind of happy that it was raining today because I had to compete with the sunshine and people were gardening. So when it was raining, I thought, yay, I'm going to have some people. So for me, thank God for the rain. Who is your speaker? That's me. That is me. My name is Esla, and I thought I'd tell you just a little bit about myself before I start breaking into water so you know a little bit about me and my background. Not to confuse with Elsa from Frozen. When I talk to people on the phone, people think that I'm some tall Swedish woman, and then they meet me and they're a little surprised, so I kind of like to do that surprise factor. I like to say if I meet somebody, because everyone wants to call me Elsa or Lisa or whatever, and then thank God for Tesla, because I just say Esla without the T. Makes it pretty easy. Before Tesla came along, I would introduce myself and say, oh, kind of like, you know, the scientist, and most people didn't even know who he was. That's, you know, Tesla. So thank you, Elon Musk, for making my introductions a little easier. Before I start, I'd like to remind you that these are just guidelines, and I am not a medical professional, and you know your body best, so you take in what you really feel works for you. So these are just guidelines and good reminders, and hopefully you'll learn something new today. I hope I can stimulate you and give you something interesting that you don't know. So that's my goal. Let me go back and tell you. Even though I am not a medical professional, I should say my credentials are, I recently just started at Trilogy about a month ago, and I started a class called Fitness Fusion, and it's on Tuesdays at 11 o'clock. So my background originally was a news reporter, so I really like investigating and I like researching, so that's kind of like my first love. And then I got into the food industry, and so my mother and we did a cafe in downtown Seattle. And it was completely something I did not want to do. Number one, I didn't want to do business with my mom, and I had no interest in running a cafe. But that's kind of where I started to learn about nutrition. And my mom was a huge nutritionist. She makes everything from scratch. She makes everything from her garden. And I was really into processed foods and eating muffins. And so I learned a lot. And then I really started to, when I had the cafe, people were really big on the Atkins diet back then. And I just was so surprised that people wanted to eat, 5 slices of bacon in the morning and cream, a breve, which is just drinking, espresso and cream, and that really just disgusted me. But I just started to really research a little bit more about nutrition because I just started noticing what people were eating. And so that's kind of how I started to switch from my news reporting gig, and then I kind of started going to nutrition and fitness. So for the last couple of years, I kind of go around to different retirement communities, and I teach fitness. I emphasize a lot on balance, and so balance is probably my specialty and not so much hydration. But I can tell you that there's a link, because where I work, the majority of my clients are probably around 80 to 90-year-olds. Don't let that confuse you, because my 80 and 90-year-olds, they're probably healthier than a lot of my 50-year-old friends. They are doing squats with me. Some are doing push-ups. After a fitness class, they go for like a mile walk. And then they're gardening. They're very active. So this community that I work in is independent living, very, very healthy people, and they're not in wheelchairs. But because they are aging, they're not drinking water. And so there's this huge correlation with balance, not hydrating yourself, and falling down. We've had so many recently, like I don't know what was going on, but there was just so many. And in the last couple of years, I really started to get into learning more about hydration because I noticed that there was a link. So if I'm teaching balance and people are falling down, it really piqued my interest. So, okay, moving forward. As we age, your body's thirst signal diminishes. Your body may need water, but you don't realize it like you once did. I can't tell you how true this is when we're done with a fitness class and I'm sweating and parched, and no one is drinking anything. And so I'm constantly telling them, please go drink some water. And they're like, I'm not thirsty. And I never actually knew this before until I started really working with them. And they're just really never thirsty. And some of them say, I just don't feel like drinking water. I don't feel thirsty. So we got them all water bottles. We got them great water bottles, the kind that have the wide mouth, easy to, the kind that, some have dentures so they can't, we've thought about everything. I'd say still only 10% of them maybe bring a water bottle to class, even though I keep emphasizing it. You don't feel thirsty. It's not a priority. So as we age, that signal in your brain to tell you that you're thirsty really diminishes. Older adults don't drink enough water, and by the time they feel thirsty, their body is already in a stage of dehydration. Probably true for all age groups, but significantly more dangerous as you age. Seniors are at a greater risk for dehydration because the body composition changes with age, and the symptoms in older adults often go unnoticed. As I mentioned before, the group I work with, no one's ever thirsty. Medications can interfere with dehydration. Sometimes we blame a new medication when we're actually just lacking water. So I can tell you that in recent months, I can't even count. I want to say 4 or 5 in the last 2 months, all fallen, and they go to the hospital, medics come, they come back, and we think it's a UTI or something like that. And of course, the dehydration leads to the UTIs, but it was a simple fix. They were dehydrated. And then I think, oh my gosh, such a traumatic accident when all you have to do is drink some water. So let's talk about what's going on inside your body and why we're not getting that signal to tell us that we're thirsty. As we age, the amount of fluid in our bodies begins to decrease, and this means that there are fewer water reserves available for your body to use as you get older. I won't have you read all that. I'm not going to go through it, but this is kind of your medical disclaimer for those that are really wanting to know the specifics, and they talk about, environmental factors and your age and climate and all of that. When you talk about hydration, of course, you're going to hear the term electrolytes. Let's talk. And when I hear electrolytes, I immediately think of Gatorade. Does anyone else think of Gatorade? Right. Yep. What are electrolytes? I won't read through the whole thing, but it is true. Gatorade definitely does help. Gatorade also has a lot of sugars. And I actually, before, couldn't think of anything else. When I hear electrolytes, I just think Gatorade, and no one is ever able to tell me what else has electrolytes. Let me tell you. Food. These are some food sources that have electrolytes. Nuts specifically, magnesium, calcium, potassium, potatoes. Not encouraging to go out and eat a bunch of French fries, but yes, potatoes. And you'll see as we delve into this a little bit that the healthier foods, the whole foods, the natural foods are more hydrating foods. It's just healthier living as opposed to the processed foods. If you eat more healthier foods, you're probably having a better chance of naturally hydrating your body. Pickle juice is one that was kind of new to me. So here are some signs of dehydration in seniors. The list is long. I'm going to warn you, the list is long. It's not pretty. It's a little overwhelming, really. I named a few. And then you'll see some that are really kind of confusing. I mean, you get some that are like increased urination and then not urinating frequently. So you're like, well, which is it? I'm going too often. I'm not peeing enough. Again, you know your body, and you know that something feels infrequent. So you know if you go so many times a day, now you're going significantly more, or you're not going enough. Bad news. There's more to the list. And if you get on WebMD, you scare yourself. You think you have every cancer and every symptom, right? So these, again, are just guidelines, something that you take in, and you're kind of aware. You soak it up a little bit, and then you kind of digress. All of these lead to, in reference to hydration or dehydration, seizures, kidney problems, heat strokes, low blood volume. I wanted to talk about this whole 6 glasses or 6 to 8 glasses a day. True or fact or myth? Do you know what they call fact or myth these days with the young folks? I've got teenagers. It's called fact or cap. Have you heard of that term? No, so that's the new term. So if you ever hear, oh, that's cap, fact or cap, that means fact or myth. I was showing my presentation to my 13-year-old, and she said, Mom, you should change myth to cap. And I said, I don't know if anyone's going to understand that one. So that's what it means. Okay, so I remember being young, and I'd go in elementary school, and we had someone come in and tell us, you got to drink your 6 to 8 glasses of water a day. So I went home, and I got all my 6 glasses out, and I poured water in all of them, and I just tried to drink them all right then. And that really turned me off because I thought, I can't do this. This was too hard. So is this true? Well, you know, the problem with any kind of information these days, I feel like there's just too much information. You get on the internet and you're going to find arguments for both sides, right? They're saying that this whole thing is this 8 to 8 origin, 8 glasses a day, or 8 glasses a day, 8 ounces a day was a military formula. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but that's what they're saying, that this formula was originally made for military young men who were extremely active. Now, is that necessary for a 50-year-old woman who's gardening and maybe reading a book and going for a light walk? Well, we'll find out. There's actually a formula. You probably know the formula. Raise your hand if you know the formula for your own body of how much water you should drink a day. No one knows? Oh, good, I could teach you something today. Wonderful. There is a formula, and I'll tell you that in a minute, because everyone's body is different. Everyone weighs a different amount. Everyone here is probably taller than I am, so probably you will drink more water than I will. Well, experts say, listen to your body. You don't necessarily have to drink 8 cups a day. If the water doesn't feel good going down, you don't have to force yourself. Be conscious of your diet, as we will continue to talk about. Eat water-based foods in your daily intake. And of course, take preventative measures. Do you feel dizzy? The whole urinating thing? Check your urine color, right? I'm sure you've heard that. The lighter the urine, and it's not just because the urine is dark that you're dehydrated. Dark urine can also lead to other medical issues. So that's a great way right there to check to see if you're dehydrated. Urine color, dizziness, fatigue, that kind of stuff. Okay, here's your formula. Here's your formula for hydration. I'm terrible at math, but I think I can do this formula. It's pretty easy. You take your weight, divide it by 2, and then you convert that into ounces. 170 pounds divided by 2 would be about 8.5 glasses a day. Even easier, let's take 100 pounds. That's the way I like to do math. 100 pounds divided by 2, 5 glasses a day, right? That's your formula for you. Now, that formula, they say, is for active days. So if it's still difficult for you to take, 8 to 9 glasses of water a day, if you're not so active, maybe take a cup or 2 out. But at least aim high, aim for your highest number, and then kind of work around that. You can figure out what your formula is, stick that number in your head, and you try to aim for that one. I have an easier formula than this because I hate numbers. Here's your formula. Would you like to hear the easy formula? Okay. Simple formula is this. If it's 4 in the afternoon and you haven't peed since 8 a.m., good chance that you are dehydrated. That's the kind of math that I can do. There's your simple formula. Here's a whole slew of foods that are the most hydrating. They're not in any order. I just picked a bunch that I thought were pretty common. And there are some that are really surprising up here, like cauliflower. I actually didn't really know that cauliflower had that much water content. Are any of these surprising to you? Besides watermelon and broth? Right?
So,
Of course.
So if they're hydrating foods, does it mean that the water content in them is large, or are they just, because like when you were saying pickle juice, right, because it's so salty, you would think it would be the opposite, because so is it?
That's actually a really good question. One that surprises me is, well, I'll get to that a little bit on the next couple of slides. Cottage cheese, right? So we'll get to that in a little bit. I can't completely answer to it. I might be able to answer it a little bit. Let's go to number 20. Am I blocking this? Can you see? Okay. Number 20, there's a food that's pretty hydrating, and it's very surprising. And I wanted you to guess it. It's not a fruit, and it's not a vegetable. Anyone want to take a guess what it could be? good guess. That's a good guess, but no, it's wrong.
Is it a protein?
It's chocolate.
No, it's not a protein. What was that?
I was hoping it's chocolate.
Chocolate. Wouldn't that be great? You come in and I have chocolate samples for you at a hydration seminar. Okay, I will tell you. I'll give you a hint. It's generally a breakfast food. You use a spoon.
Oatmeal.
There you go. Surprise! Whoa, shocking! It's oatmeal. Oatmeal. Not only is oatmeal hearty and filling, it's also very hydrating. Why? When the oats are cooking, they absorb the water and milk they're being cooked with. Now you take your oatmeal and then you pair it with your hydrating fruits that I just listed prior to, you get yourself a pretty good hydrating meal. So if you, at the end of the day, say, oh, I didn't drink my 6 to 8 glasses a day or whatever your number is, you think about some of the foods that you had that day. And hopefully that'll help your diet to be a little bit more hydrating and a little bit more healthier. I had oatmeal this morning because I was doing this and I thought, well, number one, I'm super thirsty. I was so thirsty when I was doing this, and then I made breakfast and I thought, I gotta have some oatmeal. Here's a common question I get. I had 2 margaritas, does that count? Does wine count? Good question though, right? Okay, let's see a show of hands. Is alcohol hydrating? Yes? No, everyone says no. Because you see that I didn't bring the wine today. Alcohol is actually considered a huge dehydrator. I'm supposed to tell you to limit your intake. But if you're going to raise a glass, do the 1-to-1 ratio with water. Meaning, you drink a glass of wine, drink a glass of water. Have a beer, drink some water. How about coffee? Anyone say it's hydrating? Oh. Anyone think it's a diuretic? Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is one of those that I really had to look into. Again, way too much information. So I've seen 2 different things. The recent, most current information says that it's a myth. The myth of it being a diuretic has been debunked. The diuretic effect does not affect hydration. Also aim for the 1-to-1 ratio. I've also read that this may not always be true for seniors. So something to keep in mind. I'm not saying don't drink your coffee and tea. Supplement it with your water. The myth of that is, number one, it's usually caffeinated, and number 2, drinking coffee, if you're like me, it causes me to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes. I drink coffee, I'm in there all the time. So you're ridding the fluids out of your body. I've seen so many different studies on that one. So do your own studies and drink at your will and hydrate at your will. Sodas, that's another one. Sodas have a bad reputation with the nutritionists, but they say it actually does count as hydration. Obviously not recommended and not ideal. As with, what is it called? The Gatorade, they're full of sugars. So you want to be mindful if you have sugar intake, things that you need to be careful with. I'm not a sugar proponent. I do like some water alternatives. I personally like my water to just taste like water. People like to infuse them with the cucumber or the fruit. I've tried the cucumber water. I don't mean to knock on it. If you love it, good for you. For me, it tastes like a face mask, so I don't like it. I just want my water to taste like water. Diluting some of your sports drinks, if they have sugar, is good. My kids, on occasion, I let them have the soda, and then I put some of this stuff in there, the vitamin water, because it's flavored. Mm-hmm.
So does this information also apply to decaf coffee and sugar-free drinks, sugar-free sodas, or sugar-free?
I would think so.
lemonade?
Yeah, I would think so. I think coffee affects people's bodies differently. Some people urinate often.
Decaf.
Decaf? Yeah, again, so much information out there. I've been reading up on that, and I'd say the takeaway for that is that they say that the fact that coffee is, that it's debunked, it may not necessarily be true for seniors. So I think that would be the important information to take away from that. Okay, I really like this picture. If some people don't know what this is, that's a heart. That's a heart. I show this picture to my kids to tell them to drink water. I think this analogy of our bodies being dehydrated look a lot like that. I like to drink water first thing when I wake up. We'll talk about some of those things. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but this analogy really makes me parched. It makes me thirsty, doesn't it? So, perfect timing, Rochelle. You can't come to a hydration seminar and then not have some hydration. So if you would like, I am in no way advertising these things. I've tried some things. I personally, I drink this vitamin water. I generally just drink water, but like maybe once or twice a week. I get the cheap brand from Costco. I get the Kirkland brand. This one, I got all sugar-free, so none of these have sugar. There's 0 sugar. This, I really like. I just discovered this. Has anyone tried this? It's called Hint. Do you like this? And I didn't even notice what the name was called. And then when I drank it, I said, oh, this is wonderful. It has like a hint of pineapple. And I thought, what a perfect name, because I don't like the flavored water, but it's just enough. So I will allow you to come get up if you'd like. If you would like to try some of these, I have cups here. Take a little hydration break and help yourself. Yeah, please come. Oh boy.
Or I could serve you.
Yes. I'd like pineapple, please.
Pineapple. The hints?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I can do that too. Can I offer? Let me read them. I have Hint blackberry.
That's what I want, blackberry.
The blackberry.
They make that too.
Okay.
Anyone else for pineapple? Pineapple? I'm gonna try the pineapple as well. This is-
And then
I'm like you, I don't like the flavor.
You too?
And I never drink sugary drinks, but this
I really like that too. This is the Hint of blackberry.
Yeah, it's like 10 for, like $1, they were always $1, 10 for 10.
Yeah.
At QFC or whatever.
This is kombucha. I'm not a kombucha fan. Some people love it. Raspberry hibiscus.
Dan?
I use it, I have that.
The Hint blackberry. Okay. I would. The bourbon and water, is that what I heard? I would recommend that sometime before you leave, if you want to try some of that vitamin water, it's delicious. I'm going to continue and talk so I don't take up too much of your time here. And just, if you feel like you need to get up at any time, we're almost done. Help yourself. Okay. Here's some interesting facts that you may or may not know. Can drinking water help you lose weight? Head nod, no, yes. She's saying yes. Answer, yes, yay. What % of Americans are dehydrated? Let's take a guess at that. Let's say, here are your options. 25% of Americans are dehydrated. 50% of Americans are dehydrated. 75% of Americans are dehydrated. 75? Going, anyone else? 50? 75%. That's a lot, isn't it? A lot of dehydrated Americans walking around. Wow, I know. Dehydration is a common reason for this medical ailment. There's a lot. I'll just tell you because there's just so many. I'll show you the picture. Take a guess. Yep, that's right. How does hydration help you with the weight loss? I figured some of you might want to know that. When you are dehydrated, your body can't metabolize the accumulated fat or carbs. Belly fat burning takes place when water molecules interact with the fats to make glycerol and fatty acids. Drinking water is necessary to burn off stored fat from your body. Makes you want to drink up a little more, doesn't it? Okay, I offered a couple of little tips on how you can drink more water. We talked about the water bottle. For me, I like my water bottle to look clean and good. I don't like dark water bottles. I want to see the color of my water bottle. I want to make sure it's dishwasher safe so I can sanitize it. And I like water bottles that have the wide mouth so that I can really wash it. Everyone, you find your own water bottle that works for you. I'd recommend the BPA-free, and I really do recommend a practical water bottle rather than the really cheap free ones. Get a good water bottle that makes your water look enticing and that you want to drink. I like ice in my water, so I like the wide mouth so I can fill it with ice, especially as the summer seasons come. It makes drinking easier than the nasty looking water bottle that's kind of discolored, and then it just looks germ infested. You don't really want to drink out of that. So make your water bottle look enticing. Invest in a good water bottle. That would be my tip for you. Education on foods, which we did. We learned a little bit about that. I would recommend, so I will have this available for printout, or Google your own in-depth about more foods that are hydrating and try to incorporate that into your diet, because you come to a hydration seminar and you think all you're going to do is get pushed on drinking more water, but foods. Okay, so I did make a couple of lifestyle changes for me. I don't set my alarm. There are apps that can notify you. I don't do that either, because if I get notified, I'll just say, oh great, thank you, I'll do that in a little bit, and then I forget. I keep water by my bedside. They actually say not really cold, ice cold water first thing in the morning. They say room temperature water. The cold water supposedly is really shocking to your system. So room temperature water, and it goes down a lot easier first thing in the morning. I grab that water, a cup of water at night, go upstairs, put that on my bed. When I wake up, before I allow myself my cup of coffee, I chug that thing, and then I'm done with my first cup of water. I try to do the green tea in the morning, the lemon and green tea, because they say that's so good. I tried. I just can't. I get up and I have to have my coffee. That's what gets me up in the morning. So I said, I'll make small changes. At least I'll drink my water in the morning. So I at least did that. So maybe set some life-changing habits for yourself to get yourself to drink more water. They're simple ones. Probably, I don't know, investing in how much was that machine? Yeah, that's quite a life-changing, right. But I think we can all do the water by our bedside. Here's some alternatives to water, which I brought. Some other ones are, if you go on Amazon or something, there's hydrating powders that you can mix in with your foods or drinks. I didn't bring any because I've never tried them, but they are available. These are my sources, so if I print this out for you later and you want to see kind of where I was coming up with some of this stuff. Here's a nutrition fact. If you drink a gallon of water per day, you won't have time for other people's drama because you'll be too busy peeing. Stay hydrated, my friends. I like that one. I feel oddly proud when my pee is clear. I'm like, damn, I'm really hydrated. That is your bragging right for the day. Your takeaways for today. I hope you learned something new today. I hope. And if you didn't, I hope that these were at least good reminders for you. And if anything, it was really good to meet you. And I'm trying to get to know everyone's names and faces around here. I want to thank you for taking the time to come today. I want to leave you with a beautiful hydrating waterfall as we sip some. I don't know where this waterfall is from. I'm going to assume Hawaii maybe? So that's it for today. I thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Could I offer anybody else some more hydration before you go? Please come up and take something.